Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our latest installment of the Rhode Island Tableau Users Group meeting. I'm Chris
Hello.
Rhode, Education Director at the Providence Public Library. Welcome. I'd like to welcome the rest of my team today too. We've got in the audience tonight, Rhonda Alexander, part of the leadership team for Rhode. Bill Rebello. We couldn't do this without, of course, for all your support and help with this and the Rhode and the Data for Good project too. And Rebecca Rhodes, thank you so much for joining us tonight too, helping to MC the event. And tonight we're going to give you a quick welcome message for our PPL. Then we're going to hand it over to Bill Rebello in a second, who's going to do some introductions and poll questions for us. And then he's going to lead us through the latest Data for Good project, which actually helps out the Providence Public Library with one of our projects. And then Rebecca Rhodes is going to lead a discussion tonight too. Okay, so getting into that too. Again, I'm Chris Bray, Education Director at the Providence Public Library. Welcome to the Rhode meeting. Hopefully, we're hoping this is our last virtual meeting, and in September, our next meeting in September, we'll be able to go face to face in the Providence Public Library again. So fingers crossed, we can make that happen, which also means nice space and free food. So hopefully we can make that happen for everyone too.
Everybody loves free food.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yes, we do. Yeah, so a little bit about Providence Public Library too. We do various education programs for teens, adults, and young children, and in the library, and also for other educational partners in Rhode Island. And a lot of our initiatives center around technology, use of technology, and we have what's called a career tech pathway, where we offer a whole range of computer classes, ranging from basic digital literacy through entry-level classes in coding and data analytics and visualization, which that effort led to this formation of this group in Rhode Island, the one of its kind in Rhode Island, Tableau Users Group. And also we do Microsoft Office specialist training too. And yeah, so we're really happy to have you guys all tonight too. So this is again was part of our offering is Rhode Island Tableau Users Group. And I'm going to pass it off first to this evening to Bill Rebello. Bill, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you're going to get your poll question ready.
Yes, I am.
All right. Welcome again, everyone.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So let's talk about just for a second what this poll question is about. The poll questions we're asking is because we want to make the satisfy what the membership needs for an agenda at these meetings. So the first thing we're going to do is we're trying to find out what industry you're in. And the second part of this is what kind of training would you like? So there's only 2 questions in the poll. So when the poll comes up, just so everybody's aware of what's going to happen, when we're going to give you, this is the URL right here that you're going to put in, okay? And then you're going to see this screen because I haven't started the poll yet. Once the poll starts, you're going to see a screen that looks like this, okay? It's going to ask you these questions and you can click on one of these. And then there's going to be the second question. Just give it a second and you'll see a new question. I'll ask you when everybody's done. I'll give you a few minutes. My problem is I try to go too fast, so I'll wait a bit. Thank you, Rebecca, for telling me that. And the second one is this second question. You'll see this pop up next. And on this one, you can actually answer multiple times. So if you want to hear more about dashboards or tips and tricks or best practices, click on as many of these as you think you would really like to hear about. But let's be realistic. Let's not click on everyone. Click on your top 3 or whatever. It'll be really helpful. And when it's over, you will see this back again. And then I'll come back and actually show you the results of the poll. Hope that's clear. Anybody have any questions about that, how it's going to work? So first of all, right now, I'd like you all to go to this address, this URL. I'll give you a second to put it in, and then I'll turn on the first question of the poll. And then when you're all done, you can just come back to where you are right now. Just come back to the screen.
Actually, Bill, is there any way by chance you can copy and paste that URL into the chat?
Yeah, I don't think so. Is there? I don't know if you can click on that or not.
Yeah, you can just
copy and paste it in the chat.
Somebody answer that. I don't know. It would be nice if they could just click on it.
Here, I may have done it if I copied it down right.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's not that difficult, so hopefully you can get it in there. It's only a few letters. If it was longer, we'd figure out a way to do that. Sorry, I don't know.
I just sent it out to everybody.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So you put it down in the chat?
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Rhonda.
No problem.
All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to stop the poll, and you're going to go, if you're at that location now, don't worry about what you see on the screen here. This is a smoke and mirrors behind here. So I'm just going to go in and stop the poll. So in a second, I'll tell you when you should see something on your screen if you're at that URL. Okay, I'm going to click on it now. You should see it pop on your screen. And you should, if you do not see it, let me know. But if you went to that URL, you should have the first poll question. And that's this question here. It won't look like this, but it's similar.
So you answered and then you click vote, right?
Yep. Answer, click vote. And then just wait there. And then I'll do the second one. I'm going to give everybody like a couple more minutes. Because the last time we did this, it seemed like a lot of people didn't vote. And we assumed that there was some kind of confusion or I didn't give enough time. So what do you think? That should be enough, don't you think? Enough time? All right, so I'm going to do the next voting question. So just watch your screen. You're going to see that it changed. Okay, here's the second question. Now, again, on the second one, which is what subjects you'd like to add to the Ride Tug agenda, we're trying to figure out things that you'd want us to talk about and pick your top three. I mean, probably all of these I would check, but there might be top three here for you. So you can click on three or so. If you want to do more, go ahead, but I suggest top three. I feel like I should be playing music or something. Good. Okay, so I'm going to go now. You can go back to the Zoom page. That's the end of the poll. So you all make sure you clicked on vote. And I'm going to come back to the Zoom page now. And what I'm going to do is show you the results. Okay, I have to go back into my dashboard to do this in order. Sorry. I'm going to go back in my cockpit. Takes a second. I just got to back up here and pick out the one I want. Here we go. I'm going to show it in order now. Okay, so this is the first question you asked. And what industry you're in. And 7.1%, healthcare, construction. Wow, 14% and other. Technology. You know what to do? Send a little chat. Tell me what other industry you're in, because that's a big number. Technology, finance. Hey, you guys surprised by this in any way? Anybody? Because I thought education would be a high number. That was 28.6%. Because seeing we got all the colleges, that's kind of interesting. Very nice. Okay. So let me go back to the next one. And the last one, what subjects would you like to see? Get in here. Here's the results. Yeah, dashboard design. I expected that would be high. New features too, huh? Tips and tricks. Oh, best practice tips and tricks, high ones. Hey, did somebody just vote? I saw it change. a late voter. The polls are closed. Okay, so that is the poll, and we appreciate your help. Again, we're trying to design these meetings so that it's effective for you guys. And the more we know, we'll probably come up with every meeting to have a poll, even the live one, to just drill down and get more information about what you want to see. We want to make this really a really good Tableau user group. So this is the only way we're going to get the information so we can cater to you guys. So we appreciate that.
Bill, I did catch on the chat box that we have some lottery industry.
Oh,
here
lottery,
tonight.
huh?
Yep. And
Oh.
myself, I'm in media, so I also put down a different
Oh.
industry.
Oh, it's interesting. Lottery, that's right. It's right across the street from the library.
IGT, sure.
IGT, yeah. Excellent. Okay. So Chris, where do you want to go next? You want me to go into the Data for Good projects, or you want to introduce it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, that'd be great. First, I want to give a shout out to our Ride Tug founders in the audience tonight. I want to give a shout out to Don Gregory, formerly of Providence Public Library, who's moved on to bigger and better things at Skills for Rhode's Future in Education Department. Hi, Don. How are you? Say hello.
Hello, group. Been a while since I've been to one of these, and see a lot of familiar faces out here. So, yeah, things are quite hectic over at Skills. I just got home a little while ago. We're preparing for Prepare Our Eye summer internship, and a lot of long days. But I'm using Tableau every day in my job as Director of Data Analytics, and kind of miss seeing everybody. So I'm glad to drop back in.
Yeah. Nice to see you too. Thanks so much for the support, Don. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Relax on your beach there, Don. Looks great. I can see the wind blowing through your hair.
All three of them. So, Bill, when you talked earlier about that you should be playing music, for a moment there, I panicked because I thought you were going to start singing.
Yeah. I won't do that again. Once was enough.
Thank you, Don. Great to see you. Thanks. We wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for his great work and spearheading this organization, getting off the ground too. Anyway, thanks. So Bill, yeah, want to tell us a little bit about the latest Data for Good project?
Okay, let me talk about that. Get on the right screen. And this is a high presenter's view. That always works. Okay, Data for Good projects. We've been running these Data for Good projects for a couple of years, maybe 2.5, 3 years now, in conjunction with the Rhode Island Tableau user group. And really, we try to help Rhode Island nonprofits better serve their communities. So that's what the whole thrust is. And we look for people in the membership to volunteer for these projects. Yeah, it always takes 10 minutes for me to get to the next slide. I don't know what does this, but it takes a minute. I click on it and there's this hesitation. There we go. So if you're gonna, we'd love for you to volunteer for these projects. Right now, I think as of this morning, we had like 5 nonprofits interested, right, Chris?
Yeah, we've got we've been able to advertise through United Way to local nonprofits, and we've got on our side we've got 4 or 5 agencies waiting for to have requests for projects too, and we also have a Team Data for Good project, summer project, and they're working with 2 other additional nonprofits. So it's interesting. A lot of people out there want their data analyzed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've been doing this. So we've got maybe a dozen or more nonprofits, because we try to do 1 a quarter, so not to overburden the volunteers. So I'm not going to go into all this detail, but I think the most important thing for you to know is that a couple of points, probably 20 hours, maybe 30 hours over a 4-week period through meetings and working on visualizations for the projects. And Provnev, that's about right? Because you were a volunteer in the last project. We put about 20, 30 hours in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what you gain, I mean, you build a network of people that you can call on and ask help, learn, and I get to work on, you get to help nonprofits better understand their data. That's the biggest thing. And a lot of people say this, you don't work on the same old data that you work on every single day. So it's kind of it's nice to work on different data. So let's see, go to the next one. And so this particular one was an ad hoc project, actually, where we were asked to, by the Providence Public Library, to part of their data literacy program is to look at the digital gap in Rhode Island by zip code. So the problem we had, we were a little hesitant at first because we didn't really have data. And that's kind of one of the things we really look for, that you have data, because it can take a long, long time to find the data. Luckily, in a short amount of time, we did find a good sampling of data from one of the government postings. But the Providence Public Library really has a really great program where they educate people, especially in the teen area, a lot of different skills, a lot of different technologies that they use, that they train on. So it's a really great place. I think libraries now are going from, this is where I get a book, to this is where I learn. And it's really, they really a worthwhile cause. So the project requirements for investigate data sets to single out Rhode Island population by digital devices and digital services by zip code. And then we had to find a lot of other supporting data, population, race, economics. So all of this had to be researched. And I'm going to say it one more time. We usually don't do this, but we're a friend of the library, so we did it this one time, and it was fun. It turned out to be fun. So let me get this out of here. Okay, so the project team was Provnav was one of them, Tina, Uzma, and these people, if they're willing, will show you their visualizations in a minute of what they came up with. Each one of them kind of approached it a different way, which was good. Chris was the project sponsor. He's the education director at the Public Library. But we did have challenges. First of all, was trying to find the data. And then we had to massage the data, clean the data, understand the data. So that was a bit of a challenge. We went back and forth. I'm going to say, anybody on the team correct me, but I think we went back and forth for 2 or 3 times looking at that data and try to understand it and get it clean. But it was a little bit of an effort. And then we also had to dig up supporting demographics data. Once we had the ACS data, it wasn't complete. So we had a lot of work there. So yeah, we put a good effort in. And the team came out, I think, with some really good work. And the team came up with like 4 different analyses. And we're going to see some of those tonight on whoever wants to show them off. And I think that is all I've got to say, other than let's see the data. Who wants to present? Anybody? Tina, you want to show yours? Your mic is off, Tina.
Yes, I can show mine.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Tina.
Hey, by the way, why don't you tell them where you live? We're international. By the way, the Rhode Island Tableau user group is an international, national group.
Yeah,
Tina?
I'm in Pensacola, Florida. So when you guys go live, I'm hoping that you still record it, because there is no group down here where I am. And that's why kind of how I stumbled upon you guys. So I'm hoping you guys continue recording or doing it via Zoom at least.
We
Yeah,
will.
but good.
Hybrid for sure. Thanks, Tina. Good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think Chris is trying to solve that. We're going to try to stream this at our next meeting in September.
Yep.
Okay. All right. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So what I came up with was basically it's a 5-pack, so 5 different visualizations, and clicking on any one of these charts or bars or the map will filter out the other visualizations. So it's all interactive. It's very exploratory. What we can do is we can hover over each of the different zip codes, and it'll give you the zip code, the Providence, the county, which in this case is Providence, the city. This is the number of respondents and the percent of total. Then we have the age range where we have two age ranges, 13 to 18 and 1 to 12. And this is not respondents, this is the population. This was an add-on piece of data that Usma had found for us. Same thing with race. So in this zip code, we can see that it's predominantly white, but then we see what the breakdown is for the other races. And then for education, same thing. We see the breakdown for the different levels of education going from high school to less than high school to bachelor, associates, masters, and then a small portion of that is doctorate degree. We've got the different, this is again respondents, so what the number of respondents are and percentage of total by county. We have household income, again, this is number of respondents. And then we come over to type and subtype, and this is kind of where we wanted to see where those gaps were. So we have without an internet subscription, broadcast of any type, I'm sorry, broadband of any type, without an internet subscription again, no computer, and so on. So the way it works is if we want to look at, those who don't have a computer, we can click on no computer, and then you'll see in a second that everything changes. And so now it's only filtered on no computer, and we can see where it changed by zip code. So if you wanted to see, if you're interested in a specific zip code, you could hover over it, and then you could see what that specific zip code brings you as far as age range and race and education. This is up on Tableau Public. You can look for it. You just put my name in there. Play around with it and give me some feedback if you get a chance to take a look at it. That's pretty much all I have.
Tina. Thank you, Tina. Good job.
Thanks.
Pravnav, do you want to show yours? You're muted, by the way.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So this is mine. It's fairly simple. I'm trying to move this around, but I mainly put only 3 charts. One showing the map, one showing the main digital literacy survey, and one showing the education. And if you hover over each zip code, it'll show you a bunch of things like the number of residents surveyed, the population, and the percentage rates of interest. So you have the ability, if you change this to Black or African American, it'll show what is the percentage of Black or African American in that zip code. But now the next thing is more about the county. So if I want to focus on a county, I just focus on, say, Newport. One sec, I think the pin, yeah, the pin, yeah. So if I want to focus, so let's go back. So it goes back to all. But if I want to focus on a particular county like Newport, then it'll zoom in on that particular, those zip codes. And then the digital literacy survey will also change. So this will show you what is the survey for the whole, county. But if I click on any one of them, then it'll drill down to the particular zip code of interest, the education and the digital literacy survey. And it'll also show you the age distribution per zip code. So here, as you can, for the people below 18, so as you can see from 13 to 18, there's a smaller population. But if you go to another zip code, it's still almost pretty much the same. It keeps changing, but it seems that people between 12 and below seems to be the dominant one. But yeah, it's very simple. I wanted to make it easy to use, and I also put a legend here which shows all the colors. So if someone wants to see what is this over here, this would be tablet or no other, And I made this a tree diagram because, there are just so many categories here that I thought a tree diagram would be a nice way to make it compact. But you can clearly see that without an internet subscription and broadband of any type seem to dominate everything.
Yeah.
But that's about, and also for the education, I've sort of aggregated the degrees a bit. To me, I've like bachelor's, PhD, and master's. I just bundled them all together to university degree. and the others are just high school, less than high school, and associate, which is, you know, like a hybrid between a university and a high school.
Nice job.
But this is mine.
Yep. And by the way, Pravnav is our international connection. Tell them where you're from.
I'm from Toronto.
There you go. We are having an international meeting today.
Yeah, we can see from my background.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Is Uzma in? I don't think.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
I'm
you gonna
here.
show yours?
Sure.
Okay, Uzma is also domestic, but tell them where you're from.
Yeah, I'm in Richmond, Virginia right now.
Okay, why don't you share your screen and show yours?
Yeah. So you can share my, you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I just made it a very simple one based on the Rhode Island. So you can filter in on the county level. And oh, I'm so sorry, my internet connection right here is pretty bad. So yeah, okay. And based on the county, you have these many zip codes and you can filter in. And when you hover over any one of them, it will give you the different subcategories. And you can, you know, find the data based on that. We can move this. Okay, so here's the ages. Okay, so the ages function in the same way. These are the ages. I divided them in two different categories. One is 1 to 12 and another is ages 13 to 18. And we can filter in based on the county level and then also on the zip codes that are within this county. So these are the different age groups, and you can see over here. Same goes with the education. It functions in the same way. I divided the categories based on high school and then summed up all the other higher above the high school in this category. Also, as far as the race is concerned, since white was the predominant race, so I just divided it into white and non-white and summed up the other races. So it's like for the white one, it's like, for example, in this one is 98 degrees. As we move into a darker region, the race dimensions changes. So the other race here is 73%, which comprises of all the African Americans. I think it was Indians and Asians and some other races as well. And you can also filter in based on the county as well as the zip code.
Cool.
That's it for me.
Hey, nice work. Thank you. I'm just going to show mine real quick. I'm going to spend like 1 minute on it. What the heck? Why? Oh, here we go. So mine is it's really a hovering kind of thing here. So all you really need to do, let me pull this up like this. Wow, slow. So on mine, you got the filters up in the, you know, you can do select a device, select a service, or you can select it by county. But when you want to know something, you just hover over the zip code and all these boxes change. 25 on the left-hand side, 25 people in the survey. This is what the race population looks like. This is the education up in the upper right-hand corner. Age groups and how many in each one of the age groups. And then below that is household incomes. So you can do that for any of the zip codes. Just hover and then you get the information. That is what I did. Okay, Chris, why don't we move on to the next stage here? Any questions about Data for Good projects?
Yeah, I was just going to open up for questions. Anyone had any questions on the visualizations? I know I'm really thankful for everyone, for Uzma, Pranav, Bill and everyone too, you guys, and Tina, you did great work, and it helps our work to advocate for more funding from the state and local funders, to help serve, to identify the needs, right? There are great visualizations in there that we can show different funders. There's a lot of digital equity gaps in Rhode Island, and that they exist, and so this is going to help us, with some great data points that we can go to the funders that be and say, hey, there's the need is out there, and you need to fund us and other like organizations to help us, help improve the situation in Rhode Island too. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. All right, thank you, Bill. Thanks for emceeing that part too. I'm going to pass it on now to Rebecca Rose, our guest speaker for tonight, operations analyst at Citizens Bank. Rebecca, you want to take it away?
I am officially unmuted.
Yeah.
Can you guys actually hear me?
No.
Am I too loud or too soft? Any feedback? Okay. So can you guys also see my slide with my little picture up there? Awesome. Okay. So I am so happy to present today, and I'm presenting something that is something new to me. And I thought that would be great for everyone to find a new tool to use and help improve their data visualization skills. So I work at Citizens Bank as an operations analyst, and with the help of Dawn, who is here, and Taylor, who is also here, they are our Data Viz teachers at PPL at Providence Public Library. And I went through their course about 2 or 3 years ago and changed my whole career. So I want to thank all the funders and all the teachers, and just the energy with which Dawn and Taylor teach and impart, all these skills that anyone can learn. I just really appreciate Providence Public Library and all that they've done for me. And I, along with Bill, as soon as the class was over, studied for my certification as a desktop specialist. So Bill and I have that certification, and probably many of you guys here do also. And that's my information, but let's get to the good stuff. So Makeover Monday. This is something I want to share with you guys. Again, I am a beginner at Makeover Monday as well, so I do not want to pretend to be an expert at Makeover Monday. I am exploring it with you guys. And at its most basic, Makeover Monday is a challenge to take a mediocre chart or a graph and improve it. Okay, so here you see the founders of Makeover Monday. This is Eva and Andy. And the way they describe it is kind of a learning development appointment with yourself, because it's every Monday, and it's kind of keeping yourself accountable and a way for you to improve through practice. So you learn to create vizzes by creating vizzes. The more you do it, the better you get. And it's also a portal for inspiration from around the world, because everyone who wants to will post their viz on Twitter and just add the hashtag, and they will give feedback, and you can improve your viz that same week and then compare it. So it's really, really exciting. And they have done a great way of organizing all the older data and older vizzes, so you can learn just from comparing old ones as the weeks go on. So they do this every single week, and they've done it for about 6 years. So here's an example. They say every week on Monday, here's the challenge. Can you improve this real world viz? And I love that some of their vizzes are just taken here on the right. You can see this is just a CNBC article about air travel. And within the article, there's this chart on the left. And they said, okay, this week we're going to improve this viz. And Andy, he said that kind of doing a makeover, start with this, go to that, has 3 benefits in his mind: that it reinforces those best practices for making a viz, and it helps you learn to work with different types of data sets. As Bill was talking about, every project is a different data set, and cleaning it and even making sure that it's complete. Because if you can clean it all you want, but if it's missing a month here, a month there, 3 months there, it's not a complete data set. So you either have to, when you make your presentation to the stakeholders, explain that, okay, it looks like 2020's years, or production is really low, but that's because we're missing 3 months. So clearly it's not going to be as high as 2021 because we're missing those months. So learning to work with different data sets is very valuable. And 3, it's a very visual and fun way to learn, right? It started with this and it ended with that. That's just a very kind of satisfying thing to look at. So here's Eva and Andy, and I'll be quiet just for a little bit while you guys read about their Zen Master Status. And again, I don't know them personally. I have never done this before. I just found this resource and I thought, oh, what a great way to hold myself accountable and to keep learning and keep improving and use their expertise. And maybe we can do this journey together. So here's the meat of their website. So I put a little green circle there for on the participate tab. And once you click that, you'll find all the years of the previous challenges. And then you'll see a link for the data. And then there's also on some of them, they have the recorded live YouTube of the Viz review. So they just literally open their Twitter feed and go from bottom to top, like who was the first one who posted a Viz this week? Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, I like this, I don't like that. You know, maybe you could improve the other thing. And sometimes they have a watch me Viz, and that's when Andy, it's an hour or an hour and a half, and they just have their Tableau desktop open and they're streaming it live on YouTube. And he's like, okay, if we click here, this happens. If we do this, this is how I made this really impressive chart. So you can just watch him as he goes, which is very educational. So this, I went back to, it says week 25, but I think all my examples are from a different week. But if you click on where it says link for the data, this is what it takes you in the top left here. And it has a little overview. It says the original Viz is from the US Air. Well, I guess it was the article from CNBC, US air travel falls due to COVID epidemic. And then it has that hyperlinked data source. And you click on that data source and it literally takes you to the page where you get the Excel file or the CSV. And the 2 objectives are the same every single week. What works basically in this Viz and what could be improved and how can you make it better? Oops. So that's the challenge, you know, week after week. And here's a screenshot of Andy's Twitter page. And so he just says at the bottom, you know, hashtag Makeover Monday, week 25. We're trying to improve this Viz about stop and search by ethnicity in England and Wales. And that's the one that I'm gonna challenge you guys to work on for our next meeting, which is in person. Hopefully we can bring our Vizes and maybe have people show them. So he posts that, and then you're supposed to you can literally just take a screenshot on your cell phone, no matter, you don't have to use Tableau. You can use a different, you know, Power BI or Domo, whatever you want to use. And they said you can even take a screenshot of your Viz. It doesn't have to be a live link or anything complicated, but they just want to see a picture. So then if you scroll up his feed, you see like hundreds of people posting the pictures of their Vizes. And it's pretty exciting, you know, to see live, like you just looked at this data yesterday and then everybody's posting. And this is the Viz review. So this is Eva doing the Viz review. And as you can see, well, maybe too small on your screen to see, but it's 54 minutes long. So that's what they do on Wednesdays. And they go through the Twitter feed and they just look at everybody's Viz who added a special hashtag that I think it says Viz review, because they don't want to review it if you don't actually care. So they only review the ones that have added the hashtag. And of course, so many hundreds of people are doing it, they can't get to everybody, but it would be fun if one of us could get featured on their Viz review. We should also put the hashtag RITUG. And then I'm not sure what day of the week Andy does this, but the Watch Me Viz is also a link on their website, and you can just watch him. Oh, look, I did a screenshot of the actual YouTube. They do it live on YouTube. And so he has his picture there. He's got his, you know, big headphones, and he's just talking through all the clicks he's doing in Tableau and you know, he undoes it and redoes it and tells you the things he likes, and it's really neat. So for the US Air Travel Week, the one on your left was the original, and this was the makeover, one of their favorites. So they pick out their top 5 favorites and they post those every Friday. And as you can see, this one is exciting because, you know, it has a graphic of the airplane, and, you know, not everyone has even tried putting a lot of text on their Vizes, and we can argue, you know, the benefits and the advantages and drawbacks, but this one is very striking. You know, it catches your attention, the color contrast between the orange and the gray of what the projections were for the air travel during that time and what they actually were are, you know, very engaging. I made it just a little bit bigger here. And then I featured a couple other ones. This is someone else's who just put it on Twitter, you know, a picture of it. And this is just a screenshot of their blog, is where they post the top 5 every Friday. Although I've noticed they haven't had as many posts of their top 5. Although this says April 24th, 2021. So that's only a couple months off. But I guess since they do it every week, there's a lot of blanks in the spot where, where the most recent weeks are. So they don't do it for every time, but they're not getting paid for this. So this is the summary that they have on their website, just explaining each step. So I'm going to put on a timer for me to be quiet so you guys can actually read and digest the information.
And Rebecca, they do this every week of the year?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. It's amazing. You can go back and see all of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there one type of visualization that gets made over the most? Like, is there one that they go to again and again?
Like the Eve and Andy are like, this is the worst Viz ever, never make this. You know, pie charts with like 18 slices that are like 1%, 2%, you know, those are always picked on. To be honest, since this is kind of new to me too, I haven't seen a ton of them. I just stumbled upon it literally last week, and I was like, what a great resource. I've got to tell people about this. I want to challenge everybody and challenge myself. So I don't know. I just know that everyone who's a DATAVIZ expert always says they hate pie charts. So I figured they'd probably be on the same bandwagon. Although it wasn't quiet for a whole 30 seconds. I think we've had time to look at it. What do you think, Bill? Should I be quiet for a little longer while people look, or go on?
I think we should move on. I think we're good.
Okay.
But yeah, also we got, David made a good point too. He feels like this data set lends itself well to indexing, and you would consider indexing to January of each year, like a stacked line or area chart that would be visually appealing.
Yes, yes. Because the shaded, kind of like the one that, trying to get back to my, yeah, this one, that has the feel of that shaded line area because it's underneath the line shaded. I do like that.
Yeah. And you also see that he agreed that pie charts are a no-no, and he recommends stacked bar chart as the replacement.
Yes, yes. And I was reading recently about making sure that your stacked bar in any chart really has colorblind friendly colors, because red, green look very similar to people who are colorblind. So to those of us who aren't, think, oh, it's so obvious, the red is so different than green. Well, not to everybody. So using a stacked bar chart with very differentiating colors is, for everyone, is important.
Yeah.
I put Andy and Eva's picture again up here, but Andy does Makeover Monday, Tableau Tip Tuesday, and Workout Wednesday. Workout Wednesday is like a DATAVIZ workout, kind of. And then Eva does Try My Data. She's a triathlon brother. So the try is TRY for triathlon, and then My Data. And she is her official job is technology evangelist at Exasol. I didn't look up her company Exasol, but it's interesting. So here's my challenge for you guys. I didn't run this past the board. I'm in the board, but I didn't ask them permission to challenge you guys, but we'll see if they kick me out over this. But so this week, literally they just posted this data, is the stop and search by ethnicity in England and Wales. And that is a very sensitive subject. And I think we would consider that, so it's in England, so their English is slightly different. So they call it a stop and search. We call it something else. Is anyone like, what's our word for that? It's like a random where you're just driving down the road and they have a spot and they're just making everybody hand over their IDs. We don't call it a stop and search. I think we call it something else. Well, frisk is physically, but so this is like in the car, I believe. You know, I don't specialize in English terms, but what I think is when everybody's in a car and they stop supposedly everybody and ask for their ID. So here's the original visualization. So this is actually just the top of it. I couldn't get all the info, but this is kind of, actually forget the technical name for this, but it's got like 9 different micro charts in the big chart. And so literally you go to the website here, which earlier I had that green circle around participate at the top. And then you just scroll down. So we'll go to 2021, obviously. You scroll down to week 25, because that's this week of the year. Notice how it says 20.06, right? We do it backwards in the US, but the 20th of January, or not January. You guys, I'm living in January of June. And they've already got the link to the data. And if you click the link to the data, it takes you to this page, and literally the purple, because I clicked on the link, so it changed purple. This is what you get, the Excel data, and it's a lot of rows. You can see 14,900. That's just the ones that I filtered on. And then what I find interesting of this week's data is the way they're categorizing race. You know, the way you ask that question changes what data you get, right? So I blew it up here. At the bottom, mixed white and Asian, mixed white and Black African, mixed white and Black Caribbean, and then also very different from the United States and England. They also had white Scottish versus white English is their ethnicity types. So it will be interesting to see what everybody has already been adding to the hashtag Makeover Monday week 25. And there's the link there. So I'm going to copy some of these links and put them into the chat here while we're doing a different part. I want to check. I mean, I'm pretty much done, but I was checking my time. I put 15 minutes on, but that was 3 minutes after I started. So I'm reaching my 15-minute limit, I think. But they have, you know, suggestions, a Viz Check List about how to improve your Viz. And of course, the live YouTube session where they actually tell you verbally, improve this, you know, keep this the same. And it doesn't have to be yours that you're listening to. I think just listening to the Viz review can be helpful. So that's me. I'm Rebecca. Thanks for letting me share with you today. And the next part of our meeting includes a breakout session. So Christopher, can I tell them about that? Am I doing the correct thing on the agenda?
Yes, we can do it. Yeah, if I can set it up for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk a lot about it before we press go, so you'll have time.
Excellent.
So this is the participant connection section of our meeting. And this is something Bill got some feedback about, that when we are in person, people wanted more time to network because we provide a full dinner, and they're like, hey, we do come to see the speaker, but we also come to talk to each other, to talk to other people in our field and see how they're doing. And so we're going to expand that time in our in-person, and we added these breakout rooms to our virtual because that's what our clients demanded. So this is just time connect with fellow Tableau users. And if you're on this meeting and you're not a Tableau user, that's fine. If you've ever used Excel, that you count, okay? Getting to know each other and to share one story from your professional life. So you're gonna have 2 other people in your group, so for a total of 3. Is that right, Christopher?
I can make that happen, I think. Yep.
Okay, that's all right. I'll talk a lot so you can have time. We're just gonna ask each person to share for 2 minutes a story related to the question, which I'll tell you in a second. And afterwards, I hope that we'll have time for volunteers to share their breakout stories with the group as a whole. We'll see where our time is on that. So logistics, once you get in there, I'm going to challenge the first person who, you appear in your room and you'll either see someone who's already there or you'll be the first one. So my challenge is that the first person who's there and who sees no one else in the room, I have volunteered you to be the timer or voluntold you. So I'm hoping that you'll actually get out your phone and put a little 2-minute thing, because if you have someone in your group like me, they're going to want to talk for the whole 6 minutes, and you got to stop that. You got to stop the extrovert from taking over the whole time. So if you're the first person in the group, I'm voluntolding you to grab your phone, put in the little clock mode and put the 2 minutes on. And I'm going to show you your question in a minute, but everybody, when it comes 2 minutes, you can just probably say, oh, the timer's going off, who wants to share next? Now, if you're really shy and you really don't want to interrupt people and tell them to stop, you can, of course, convince someone else in your group to be the timer. I leave that up to you. What else was I going to say? Basically, we're going to allow it to go for 8 minutes total, Chris, because I figured 2 minutes per person adds up to 6 minutes. But of course, there's going to be a minute of awkwardness, a minute of technological difficulties. So if you could put a total of 8 minutes on there, that'd be awesome.
So we'll see. I actually don't have the preset. We'll see how long it gives us in the breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. Oh, because we can just stop it at 8 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's our question. And our backup question.
Yeah, we should. Oh, could we put those in the chat too?
Oh, sure. Let me see if I can. I can't click on my version because the power. I'll get out of it. But will someone read it out loud other than me? Since Chris, you are unmuted. Will you read it?
Sure can. So today's question: what's the most recent thing you've learned about data analytics, Excel, Tableau, or presenting data? And backup question: if you can't remember, what books or podcasts or any other media about data have you enjoyed in the past?
All right, I'm trying to find my slide so I can actually copy paste. Yeah, because once you guys are in the breakout rooms, if you get nervous and you can't remember, then you won't be able to look at my slide. So yeah, I've copied, but now can I paste? I'm going to try to find my way back to the meeting and go into the chat. Oh, I think I did it.
You got it. All right, should I go with breakout rooms? Ready?
Hold on just a second. Only because, oh, I think I'm already in slide maker mode. I know I had one more thing to say. I don't think it would be that new, but I always like to check my notes, gotta check your notes. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, we'll meet back here in 8 minutes. So if you're the first one, volunteer to be the timer and enjoy sharing your stories and connecting with your fellow data enthusiasts. So click, I think when Christopher invites, you should have a pop-up that'll say join or reject or something, or accept or join. So yes, click on that join button, please. So will we only see people who did not go to a room? Yeah, it looks like it's just Uzma. Oh, okay. Where'd Bill go? Did Bill go to a room? You must have.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're getting invitations to the room as well.
Okay.
Huh, so should I go?
Sure. I can.
I don't know.
I'll monitor.
I'm gonna take a 30 seconds breather. Rhonda, Chris, did I do all right?
You did great. Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some great comment.
Oh yeah, that was nice to have you read out the comments.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I didn't know I had this plant in the viewing station. I think it's a nice touch. Although the strange like thing on my face is funny, but what are you gonna do, right?
No, I think it's great.
Oh, it's barely noticeable. I only thought to look at it when you said something right now.
Yeah, it almost looks like a bindi.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? I've been trying to hide from it, but my chair like wheel keeps breaking over this other spot. So I'm like leaning and oh, I'm so glad that went well and that it didn't go for like 50 minutes.
Yeah, you did great. You did great.
Good. Okay, I
Now,
might
my
go sneak in.
participants, okay, my participants box says 4, and that's because 4 of us are together.
Oh, maybe.
And
Well, I'm
then
gonna join
Other
room
people are in
5.
rooms. Okay. We couldn't hold her back, Chris.
Yeah, excellent. I'm glad she's let her pacific.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks, Rhonda. Thanks for joining tonight. It was great.
Yeah, you know, there was kind of like that little blip on the radar, but
But okay, and yeah, it's great. It's great to see in the audience. It just makes, you know, when you're presenting, it's like, oh, it's a friendly face.
right, I didn't want to add like that whole other layer of,
Yeah, no, it's great.
Now is Rebecca gonna pop back out and say time? Because we didn't take a timer.
Oh yeah, I can broadcast a message to everyone too when it comes.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah. They've been in there for 2 minutes, well, 4 more minutes.
Nice. It was nice to see Greg. I mean, Dawn tonight.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
He's great.
So Zen Master didn't come together?
Zen Master, no. Bill never heard back from Tableau. Yeah. I came in late, you know, joining the meeting late. I don't know if he had a chance to ask what happened, but I think it was a little too last minute, I think.
Yeah.
Get someone. I think our experience is you have to ask like a few weeks ahead. Last minute.
You know, I'm looking at the recording button, wondering if this is being recorded. Because I don't think the chat rooms are being recorded.
Oh, okay. Let me pause.
Okay.
Back to recording.
Okay, we are recording now.
Okay.
So I will share my screen number 1, and share. You guys see it now?
Yep.
All right. So, well, what did you guys talk about? I had a really great conversation with Van, who I was just telling Dexter that I just started working with citizens about 8 months ago, and I met Van for the first time in person Monday. And out of the 50 people I personally invited, he's the only person who came tonight to show his support. So I want to shout out to Van, and he is working. Well, instead of me telling Van's story, Van, would you mind sharing and unmuting? And don't hide, because I know you're an extrovert. Unmute.
I'm part of a diversity forum. Now, one of the things we're doing is we've hired a contracting company to basically train and give awareness to diversity and then in different areas throughout the company. And one of the key areas is talent acquisition and recruiting. And so one of the things I'm tasked with is measuring the effectiveness of the whole program. And I know, like a lot of the senior leaders, I'm not going to bore them with numbers, but I know like talent acquisition, they have their metrics and lots of numbers and a lot of data. So my biggest thing is converting those numbers to a story and saying, are we effective? And if we're not effective, where are we not effective? And what thing, and basically from that data, make recommendations. So I have an audience, they don't want to see charts, they just want to see recommendations. So it's really just, what is the story, and taking the data and telling the story.
Thank you, Van, for sharing. That's great. So I like hearing that.
Anyone else just volunteer if you heard a great story from someone else in your group. You could share it, or you could share your own story.
Hi, this is Elaine.
Hi, Elaine.
I wanted
Thank
to
you so
share that.
much.
Hello, everybody. I'm new to Tableau with Bill. Bill has been so great and instrumental in helping me to learn more about Tableau. And I was in a group with Betty, and I found out that Google Analytics, I can actually get some data for a project that I'm working on. And, I'm just wondering how reliable that data is. I guess we have to just assume, because it's Google, they do what they do to get the data. So we just have to assume it's all valid, but to get data from Google Analytics for free, I'm just excited. Can't wait till I get off this call so I can go figure out what they have. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Elaine. And thank you for Bill for continuing. He also teaches classes on Intro to Tableau, and his mission is to really help people, either if they want to change careers or upskill and actually get hired. So I know he has a lot of projects in the works regarding that. So I'm glad to hear Elaine is on that path. Anyone else come share with us? Rhonda, could you mute?
I can tell you Anastasia's story. That's who I was in the group with. She likes Tableau. She uses Tableau, but one of the things that her weakness was, or she's trying to overcome, is presenting, not just the analytics, but presenting in front of a live audience your results. So she kind of struggled with that. So she's trying to get better at that. So it's a different mindset, because we're always like thinking, okay, you just do Tableau, and you send it off to people. But in a lot of cases, you've got to present it as well. So you need presentation skills, and it takes a while for some people to get that together. It takes us all time to get, I guess. It's not some people, all of us can struggle with that from time to time.
Bill, can I make a plug for Toastmasters right now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I minimized your all's faces, and I like to actually see you. So, okay, I see you now. That is, I don't know if you've heard this statistic, and I don't know the exact numbers, but that fear of public speaking is one of the top fears of all human beings, equal to dying. So not equal to, it's up there with, okay? And Toastmasters is a nonprofit that's been around since 1901, and they're international, and their number one mission is to empower people to improve their public speaking. I botched the mission. It's to make them more effective leaders and presenters, I think. And I was the president of the Providence chapter for a couple of years, and there's just chapters all over the place. In Rhode Island, I think we have 10. They meet at all different, well, you meet in the same place every week if you're in the group, but they meet every other week, and it's very inexpensive. I think it's $70 for 6 months. And the idea is that you learn by doing. So just like this Makeover Monday kind of challenge that I was giving you guys, the Toastmasters challenge is that every week you do some sort of speaking, whether it's a 30-second telling of a joke, or it's a 2-minute impromptu speech, or it's a 5-minute, you signed up ahead of time and you're going to present it to the group. And I am living proof that Toastmasters works, because you guys, I was asked to give this presentation tonight yesterday. I had nothing. Well, I had other things prepared just in case, but we decided to change it. We thought we were going to have a Tableau Zen Master, and all of a sudden we did not. So in just one, night, I didn't spend a lot of time on it because I went to Toastmasters for a couple of years, and over the years I stressed to get ready for Toastmasters, and I learned how to handle that stress and channel it and project my voice and look at the crowd. So that's my plug. If you're afraid of public speaking, you're normal and everybody else is afraid too. And the way you get over it is just forcing yourself over the fear and practicing little by little. And that's actually one of the reasons I love Rhode, because I get to give more presentations, and the more I do, the better I get. So Toastmasters, TOAST, like giving a toast, at a wedding, Toastmasters.org, because it's a nonprofit. And
Rebecca,
okay,
are
we shared our
you
stories.
going to mention the community page?
I guess, fine.
Finish our talk actually since it's almost 8. So let's. But you
Okay, all right.
We're starting the run. We're at 7:45,
Yes.
so we're
Okay,
gonna wrap up.
here's our community page. And I think, as Bill mentioned earlier, my internet cut out, but we are together with you trying to grow this page as a resource for each other. So if you have a problem with the Viz or your Google Analytics data seems wacko and you're like, I don't know what's going on, post it here. We are a community of experts and beginners. So don't be afraid to post. Like Brigitte posted, Chris just posted. We want you guys to come to it to ask questions, and then also come to it to answer people's questions. So we're trying to grow this page, and that is the link. I can probably post it
earlier too. It's in the chat.
Oh, great. And
Good place to talk about Makeover Monday project.
yes, actually, you're right. I could post that in there. So that's me. And I did not actually mean to leave me as the last thing on the screen. So I'm not going to leave, but I think I stopped sharing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Rebecca, thank you so much. Thanks for the great.
Yeah, that was great.
Great job. Last minute presentation. That was amazing. Really.
Thank you, Chris.
Well,
I've had great teachers.
Oh, I know. They were great. I know. Thank you, Bill, as always, for organizing this. And Rhonda, thank you for, also.
Oh, wait, I did have one more slide about the date of our next meeting.
I'll announce it.
And yes, announce it.
All right. So our next meeting, hopefully, drum roll, in person. We should be back in person September 15th at 5:30 at the Providence Library Ship Room. Hopefully it should look something like that. And and also with the consideration that we're going to hopefully be able to set up a hybrid element, so you can join us from out of state and can observe and participate too. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
We have door prizes like this, the big book of dashboards. This is my buddy. As you can see, I have like 15 tabs in it.
Yes.
So come in person September 15th and you could win this.
Spread the word. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking.
Thank you, everybody. Can everybody unmute and just say bye?
Thank you.
Unmute.
Bye.
Unmute.
Bye, it was a pleasure.
Bye. Thank you.